from a business standpoint, this is probably one of the better decisions Triple H has made so far, is bringing him back. And I know a lot of people are even in the comments here saying that, odds, I think David even has one. Yeah, here it is. Over under that Punk lasts a year. And here's my thing. And it's a different ball game, night and day between WWE and AEW. Punk in AEW, like, he was WWE bred, and then Ring of, like, he's just old school, and it just doesn't work. Like, and I could go into whatever, but it didn't work. Like, WWE now is a much more controlled environment. You can do your own thing. We've seen guys be like part-timers, still get TV time, all this stuff, and they have, I wouldn't say like creative control over their character, but they can do something without having a title in their hand. It's pretty much the end of it. And with Punk, like, he's an attraction. Like, CM Punk sells tickets wherever the man goes.
Well, that's why they already announced that he was going to be on Raw, that him and Randy were going to be on Raw. So they're like, okay, sell those tickets.
It's a fantastic business decision. That the fact that Triple H pulled this off, this feels like Vince Eric Bischoff all over again. But this is Triple H's first hell is frozen over moment. Couldn't have came at a better time with the signing of CM Punk, the most polarizing figure in wrestling.
I think it's fair to question like how long he'll actually last, just because we know how his last tenure with WWE ended. And then obviously it was only a couple months ago that he was let go from AEW. And we know his entire time in AEW was not a smooth sailing. So I think that's why it's like easy to question. And I think some people might be a little bit iffy about it, because I'm sure some of his fans too are like, well, okay, I don't want to get like too invested, because what if this is too good to be true? What if it doesn't last long, right? But I do agree with you. I think that WWE is where he needs to be. I would say maybe even TNA, but I don't know as much about their.
He's too big for TNA.
Well, but I just you'll know what I mean in a second.
Okay.
I think it's a constant criticism about AEW, and it's going to be until Tony is that there's not enough like stability back. Like, it's like Tony wants to do everything, but he doesn't have the pieces around him to like keep dudes like this in check and like not let things get out of control. And that's why we hear so many stories all the time about stuff that's going on behind the scenes in AEW. It's because they just don't have the same like business model or whatever. They just not built the same. Granted, they're vastly different companies, obviously, especially because AEW is so new. But there are so many people that work at WWE that are at shows every single week, even at house shows. Like, there's going to be way too many people around Punk constantly for him to get away with this kind of stuff. And I think there was some people saying, like insiders, whatever, that claimed Punk and Triple H did have a lengthy conversation. And I feel like that is something I think I mentioned on here before, that it was going to have to be something like that, because allegedly Punk still had some beef with Triple H stemming from however many years ago. And now that Triple H is in a completely different space in his life, just like he said in the press conference last night, and Punk is as well, that they're different people, that they've grown in whatever, like they had to have some sort of like meeting of the worlds to like figure out what this was going to be. And I'm not a Punk fan by any means, but I do think that I mean, it's hard to say, but I would assume that Triple H probably laid down the law pretty harshly to him. And I'm sure that Punk in some way is aware that if he messes this opportunity up, like, he's done. He's not going back to AEW. WWE ain't bringing you back if you mess this one up. And why are you who's going to take you anywhere else? Because it's going to be like the two top companies, or the most talked about companies, don't want you, kicked you to the curb, no matter how much money you were bringing in. Why are they going to? So I would like to think, as a fan of professional wrestling that happens to be WWE, that he's going to understand the significance that this is, because like nobody could have done anything with you after what happened in AEW, but WWE is like, okay, we're going to take a chance on you, that he's not going to mess it up. And he's going to be the type of veteran that comes in and like what John Cena had been doing, you know, like putting over the younger guys and not doing that, and like not getting this like big-headed ego thing that he allegedly had in AEW. It's like, no, you have a good opportunity here and you couldn't have come back at a better point as far as in WWE. And it's like, don't mess it up, you know? And I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H was like letting that be known, because man.
Oh, 1,000%.